and we have to get the answers right. And it creates all this tension. And what happens is we stop listening and connecting to the wisdom that comes through our bodies.
Well, welcome, Laura. I am so excited that you are here. For all of those who don't know, this is the amazing Laura Wieck, the founder and creator of BodyMind Coaching and the BodyMind Way. And I am so excited to have her here because she has an incredible way of changing the world and helping people understand that their body has a powerful message to give, that there is a truth that lies deep within every part of us. And that when we connect with that, we can truly live our truth, our light, our vision in the world. And we can do it with much more ease and much more grace and joy. And she just has an incredible way of connecting, not only with her clients, but with the world around her. So without further ado, please welcome the amazing Laura Wieck.
Well, that was such an amazing introduction, and my dog is coughing. Thank you. I'm so excited. I'm so honored to be invited and just be here now. Thank you, Cody. That's very humbling. So
yes, thank you.
I do have a big mission, a big vision to put out in the world. And it helps when I get to work with amazing people like you. So thank you for having me here.
Yes. And I, of course, love your vision and mission. So tell us a little bit about, I'm sure that everyone wants to understand, and I certainly want everyone to know what the BodyMind Way is, what BodyMind in general, really like, what does it truly mean for you?
Oh man, let's just dive in and go deep.
Because that's the way I
roll. So the crazy thing about this is that, I think in our culture, we talk a lot about like deep down, deep down we feel a calling, or deep down we feel a stirring, a mission, a vision, a drive. And the interesting thing about feeling things deep down in the body and that wisdom and that connection and that pull and all of that is that the way we are physiologically wired, it's hard to put words and language to the feelings that are in your body. Yes. And what happens is we live in this culture that idolizes, the mind is basically in control of everything. And if you can get your mind right, you can do all the things, and you have to think your way there and plan it out and have it be logical. And we grow up in these school systems that stick us in these little desks where we can't move, and we have to get the answers right. And it creates all this tension. And what happens is we stop listening and connecting to the wisdom that comes through our bodies. And when you are, and I don't even like the word connected to, because that implies that the body and the mind are separate.
That they're different.
Yes. Right. The mind and the body are actually, they work together. They are one. However, they're cohesive. Yes. They're meant to work together. We talk about alignment, we talk about flow. And to me, that is body mind. But in our culture, so much of what we're taught, it's the mind controls everything. And the body is this like secondary thing that we're meant to sculpt and perfect.
Change and fix.
And it's like we've given our power away from our bodies. Like even in the medical community, it's like the doctors know our bodies better than us. And the thing is that really when we look at the world, when we look at the universe, it's actually through our bodies where we deeply connect.
Yeah.
And, have you ever just like had a knowing inside of you? Or, have you ever, this happens to me, I can walk down the street, and when I'm just really present in the moment, I feel like I can I can feel what's going on in somebody else. Or I'm going to sound like really freaking crazy now. I feel like if I'm in the forest and you're really connected, it's almost like the trees are talking to you.
Yeah. You can feel the essence of them and the energy. Yeah.
So it's through the body that we're receiving all of this wisdom and knowledge. And, but we live in a culture that tells us to deny it, that tells us it's not logical, it's not right. And then over time we forget how amazing our body is. Right. And I'm going to butcher this, but there's an Albert Einstein quote that is, the rational mind is a faithful servant and the intuitive mind is a gift. We've created a society that, oh gosh, this is the part I always mess up.
Right. We basically idolize
we idolize the servant and we've forgotten the gift.
Yes.
And here's the cool thing is you and I both we both come from like the massage world, right? Yes. My degree is in biology. I'm a bio nerd. And what is so freaking cool about this is that when you look at our physiology, we actually have 3 brains in our body. We have obviously the brain in our head, we have the brain in our body, and we actually have a brain in our heart. Our heart like has its own little mind in there as well. And when you look at this, what you realize is that your intuition, those messages in the body, they are actually logical. Because what's happening is the logical mind that you think of, that our culture tells us to, think positive and, change your mind, change your life. That's really just your neocortex. That is, obviously it's the most evolved part of our brain in humans. But that brain really supports how you physically feel in your body. So if you feel anxious, your brain will think anxious thoughts.
Right.
Right. And so the idea that your brain is actually going to change your body, yes, there's a feedback loop that happens, but when you create an expansion or when you cultivate the energy of how you want to feel in your body, your brain starts thinking that way. Right. And I'm like putting all of this out there, like you just opened up the channel as you always do, Miss Cody. But when we think about those intuitive hits, when we think about those moments of like just deep knowing where oftentimes it's like, I can't find the words, I just know.
Yeah.
What's actually happening in your body at that time is this brain in your pelvic bowl. It's called your enteric nervous system. It innervates all of the organs of your digestive tract. It produces 95% of your serotonin, 50% of your dopamine. That second brain is literally picking up on all of this environmental data that's going through your body. It's picking up on all of the hormones running through your body. It's feeling into all of this information that your logical brain
can't comprehend.
It can't comprehend.
Can't analyze it.
Yes. And so when you have that intuitive hit, it's actually coming from all of this, like it's coming from all these sources all around you.
Right. From your environment, from every aspect around you.
I mean, it's like from your DNA, it's like, all this stuff is coming up and it's telling you, it's giving you that message. But because we don't have the words to describe it, we've like put it to the side. Saying, I'm crazy.
We've devalued it.
Yeah. And so I for my mission and why I believe this is that, we look at our culture and stress is the number one killer in our culture, right? Where, and pain, chronic health issues, autoimmune issues are running rampant. And I really believe this is the body saying, hey, you've stopped listening. And I'm going to do anything in my power to get you to listen.
To get you to listen up, pay attention.
So that little twinge in your neck that turns into like a full-on knot, that turns into a headache, that turns into chronic migraines. Your body isn't saying, hey, fix the migraine, pop a pill. Your body is saying like, hey, maybe you should look at the responsibilities you're carrying because something isn't aligned here.
Right.
And so that's why like the body is always going to talk. And why I created BodyMind Coaching is because I saw in my clients, I come from the massage world, and I saw in my clients, they would come in, complaining of neck and shoulder pain. But what was really happening is their body was saying, we need to look at what you're carrying because you don't have to carry it all. Yeah. Right. Their jaw pain was happening because there was something they needed to say. Mm-hmm. Their arms and, all of this. I love dogs when they pop on here. So right. All this tension in their arms was like, what are you holding on to? In their feet, I would see clients that were like stubborn and digging their heels in the sand. And like,
yes.
So I literally I felt this tension in their body, and I was like, your body is trying to tell you that something gets to shift in your life. What if we start listening to that and actually work towards what feels good and what feels aligned? And as you start to listen to these messages, right, and you start to cultivate that energy, that mind, now we're body, and the mind starts to support the energy, and the mind starts to think of ways to expand and grow. And it's like, holy cow, like lives transform and amazing things happen. So
yes.
That was like a really long answer, but apparently it
was exactly what
to the thing.
It was exactly what was needed, because I think there's this place where, working on our mindset is great.
Yes.
I'm all for that, but it's one part of the overall picture. Like it's one little tiny bit. And the way in which, like, you and I both get, but I think that it's really helping other people to see, or at least open their ideas to, or open their mind to the idea that their pain in their body isn't there to be fixed, but is there to teach us, is there to give us something.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's there for us, not something happening to us that we have to change or fix or erase or, whatever it is. It's
Yes.
communicating.
Yes. It's a source of wisdom and knowledge. And when you tap back into, I don't want to say that when you learn how to listen, because the thing is, you actually already know how to listen. So to me, it's like, it's a coming home to yourself, really. And I laugh because, when you're talking about the mindset thing, I remember, reading all the books. I'm I love the self-help genre. Mm-hmm. I go crazy in that world.
Self-help junkie over here.
Oh yeah. And like, I just, was happening is I read all these books that were like, think positive. And all of a sudden it was like, think positive. So I'd be like, I am a beautiful goddess, right? I would say my thing. And then in the back of my head, I would hear this voice that'd be like, yeah, but you like to burp, or yeah, but you haven't taken off your sweatpants in 3 days, so it's all of a sudden like this idea of like, and you see people like swirling in this, my lighting, you see people swirling in this, I have to think positive. And then as soon as you have to think positive, what you've done is you've created good and bad within you, and you've actually created disconnection, and then you start fighting yourself.
Absolutely. Every time.
And when you come back into the body and you recognize that pain is an energy, stress is an energy, happiness is an energy, joy is an energy, all of those energies and those sensations that are going in your body are just ways that it's communicating.
Right.
And it's not good or bad. It's just like this energy. Beautiful, it's energy, but it's this like litmus test, this like this how do I want to say this? It's, to me, the body is real. I believe that the body is committed to you living your purpose.
Oh, yep. I feel that.
Like, and I've never said that. So I think, that idea of the energies coming through. And this is different from like addiction or reactive behaviors, right? I'm not talking about, It's funny that I hear in our culture, like, don't let your emotions run your life. And people who say that typically are suppressing their emotions. And guess what's running their life?
Emotions.
They're suppressed emotions, right? So the emotions are energy and they're meant to be heard and felt. And I, when we look at these three brains, we have this intuitive brain in our body. We have this beautiful logical brain in our head. But that brain in your heart, I really believe is connection to purpose and source. It's, whether it's God or universe, like, I really believe your heart is that mission that you are here to live and be. When your body, the energy of your body is really here to say, you're on track or something's off, and I'm going to alert you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to invite you to come back into that purpose.
Invite you to pivot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you do that, and when you shift the energy, now the brain up here is like, oh, let me look for ways we can expand this, and I'm going to work with you instead of against you.
Yeah. And I love the gut brain and the heart brain, but I also love how it's already prevalent in our culture in small ways, right? My gut instinct, or follow my heart, or it's like those phrases are there for a reason because there's a truth to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the body mind way is really about inviting our gut brain and our heart brain to the table more consistently, rather than always listening to the head or the mind over what wisdom is actually trying to be seen and heard from inside.
Yeah. And, part of, again, with Body Mind and why I'm so passionate about supporting our Body Mind coaches is, in my self-help books, you have those, trust your gut, listen to your heart. But it's like a sentence.
Right.
Around all of this changing your thoughts thing.
Right.
And, what does that actually mean?
Mm-hmm. How do you actually
do
that?
How do you actually do that? And the cool thing is, so we have these three brains, and I really believe that alignment and that sense of flow happens when those three brains are actually working in harmony.
Mm.
And am I allowed to go mildly spiritual in a sense here?
I think absolutely.
I don't say this out loud too often, but I come from the Christian faith, and my grandmother, who is a big influence in my life.
She's amazing.
She lived to be 102, and she was really passionate about the Holy Spirit and the Holy Spirit and how it works in our lives. And so what I find so fascinating, because I'm a biologist, I'm a woman of faith, and in the Bible, it says that we are made in God's image. And, in God's image is that triune brain.
Right.
And we have three brains in our body.
Right.
And to me, that faith, to me, body mind it's very much an expression of my faith, of living those three in harmony with each other.
Yes.
Where you have God, right? Where you have Son, where you have Holy Spirit. And those three actually live within you and get to work in harmony together. And so I find it so interesting. And the other way I've heard this is we are spiritual beings living a human existence.
Yes.
It's through these brains. It's through this connection with self, and how that spirit is really accessed in our physiology. So we have been divinely designed in these amazing bodies. And when we live in a culture that cuts off two of them, we're actually cut off from that deep connection to source.
From source. Absolutely. Yeah. And I feel like it's so many cultures have that Trinity in some form or fashion. I even know in Buddhist philosophy, there's the past, present, and future Buddha, right? It's that same idea that there are 3 access points to truly awakening.
Mm-hmm.
I've never said that, but I feel like that's true. Like, allowing ourselves to connect with those parts in us that feel, hear, sense, experience the world as it moves through us is so much more profound than trying to solve for, analyze, figure out, and lead with the head, when it's really, we should be leading with our whole self, like not just like the disconnection of self. I feel like we're all walking around. I mean, literally, like, I think we're so into zombies because we are walking around like zombies. We're walking around completely disconnected and stuck on one way of being. That's it.
Yeah. And we also, and this comes from Philip Shepherd, who's somebody we both worked with, we're disconnected, and we have this belief that knowledge is going to save us.
Yes.
And it just, that belief that if we get it right in the head, we'll get it. It'll be organized and it's going to fit together,
and perfect,
and we're finally going to
be great.
We're finally going to understand, and we're finally going to be safe, quote unquote safe. And in doing so, we feel more disconnected. We feel more unease, and it only perpetuates the cycle. You know, that coming home to the body, that reconnection to self, you know, to me, it gives this sense of when I am, and by the way, it takes practice.
Yes.
A lot of practice.
Yes.
As I drop down, as I really come back home into my body, there's just this sense of being held.
Yeah.
And it's not that I know, it's not that I have it figured out. It's not that everything is perfect. It's this, you know, as Philip would say, like this surrender to the moment, where you realize like this beautiful universe is really there just to hold you. And that to me is where I've learned to find my security in that.
Yeah.
Which has led to so much more abundance and so much more connection and so much more purpose in all ways in my life.
Yes.
You know, when I look at my business, when I look at what I've created, the amazing people that I've gotten to connect with, I never could have gotten there if I had followed the logical path of my head.
Right.
Because that's operating only from a small set of information that is known. And, you know, wherever you are with your goals, with desires, with what you want to create, it is physiologically impossible to know how that next goal is going to come in, to know how that next desire is going to show up. Because if you did know how it was going to show up or how it was going to come in, you would already have it.
Right.
And so
don't know it yet.
Exactly. So when you think that you're going to map it out and plan your way there and have it all figured out in your head, and then it's going to show up, your head is only operating out of the past and out of only what is known.
Right.
And so when something new is desired, right? And I believe that our desires are here to kind of guide us forward.
Right.
Yeah.
They're here for a reason.
They're not evil. They're not bad. When you see that, when you recognize that it's not through knowing that you're going to draw it in, it's actually through embodiment and experiencing and feeling, right? Feel your way forward.
Feel your way forward. Yep.
Let it be messy. Feel your way forward. It's in the embodiment of following the energy, right? Because your body's going to show you the energy, that those things start to show up.
Yeah.
And it will, I love blow your mind. Like, I love the phrase. It will literally blow your mind, because your mind will be like, I didn't think that's going to, I didn't think that was possible. And then all of a sudden it shows up.
I love it. I love it. Those moments where you're like, my brain does not compute.
No, does not compute. Right. But then the fun thing happens where then the neural pathways connect, and then your brain is like, oh, I see this. And then it starts to recreate it. And then that thing becomes your daily life.
Right. And then all of a sudden it's new, but you never could have gotten there.
Yes.
From the old brain trying to answer the future possibility.
Yes. And by the way, I love that link of like the logical brain can really only analyze what like the past of what is already known. So with that link with the Buddhist past Buddha,
Yeah.
There's something really cool in that.
Like past, present, future. I don't know. We can do all the things, right?
I'd say past, present, future is how I would probably.
Yeah, past.
That's how I would say it. Maybe.
Yeah. That makes sense. Past, present.
Look at us creating amazingness.
Look at that. We made something new. Yay. It's just, I think that, I had one time somebody asked me, we were talking about business and they were like, so what are you going to do next? Right. It was a very analytical question. I was like, all right, what's next? And I literally just stopped for a minute and I allowed myself to just settle. And the first thing that came out of my mouth was, I'm going to feel my way forward. Mm-hmm. And it was that moment, I think, when it clicked for me in the next level of like, I'm not going to always know the next step. Mm-hmm. But I can feel my way forward to what is the right immediate next step, right? The right immediate next decision. I feel like, we so often want to play the tape out. We want to have the full conversation and know how we're going to respond, even when that conversation may never exist with that person, right? Mm-hmm. How many people have sat down and tried to have the conversation with their in-laws, with their sister, with their brother, with their client about what they're going to say and how they're going to say it and how the other person is going to respond.
And then you actually do it and it's like nothing like you planned.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like you spent all of that time, arguing with this invisible person and worrying and fretting when your objective is to just feel your way forward and to respond to the next right thing.
And what I will say, so you're reminding me of she was, and I shared this story a lot, but you remind me of one of my very first BodyMind Coaching clients.
Yeah.
So I had been seeing her for years as a massage therapist and, tight neck and shoulders, all this stuff. And when she stepped into, first of all, I never thought she was going to sign up for my program. She was in her 20s. She's this young professional, super vibrant. And like she stepped in and like she showed up with like a journal and she's taking notes. And one of the things that happened in these conversations was she started to notice this energy kind of stuck in her throat.
Right.
And again, this is, let me preface this with why BodyMind Coaching is so freaking powerful is because we're not going in here with an agenda of getting the perfect job or having the perfect relationship or losing the 50 pounds, right? That's not our agenda. Our agenda is connecting to that wisdom and letting it guide you forward. Right. So we recognize that there's this energy trapped in her throat. And I encouraged her to just start to notice where she felt it. And also at the same time, she came up with the idea to start singing in the shower and singing in the car just to start feeling the energy moving.
Right.
So she comes back for her next session and she's like, I feel it when I want to speak up for myself. Mm-hmm. Right. And so brain wants to do what you're talking about of like map out the entire conversation and have the whole thing perfect and ready to say. And what we came up with was, I was like, so when you feel that, she's like, I feel like my heart, my body wants to say something. And this trap door comes down and it's like, that'll sound stupid. Don't rock don't offend anybody, all this stuff. And she's like, that's what it feels like. And so through this, I was like, what's one phrase that maybe when you feel this, you can just say that one line. And she's like, I have something to say. So when she feels this energy, she says, I have something to say, because her brain would do the spiral out of control, try and figure out the whole conversation, map it out so that she's safe. So she practices, I have something to say. She practices with her friends, all this stuff. And she's at work and apparently like once a week, the boss would pass out all of the projects. And the boss puts her in this project and she feels wave.
Yes.
And without even thinking, she says, I have something to say. Whole room turns to her and she's like, fuck, now I got to say it, right? And letting it be messy, feeling her way forward. She says, I don't think this project really highlights my talents. I think I should be over there. So boss says, great, go over there. All right. She nails it, right? She does amazing on the project. She's feeling so inspired. Like all of a sudden, it's easier because it's aligned with her natural gifts. She's enjoying it more. She's excited to go to work. She does amazing on that job. So guess what happens? She gets a promotion. So now
she's a raise.
She gets a raise. She gets a promotion. Right. And so I'm sitting here like she's coming in and telling me all these things that are happening. She's like, Laura, I just say, I have something to say. And like, it happens. So she ends up getting a promotion. She's project manager. She got another promotion within the year. And then another company recruited her, doubled her salary because they were so impressed with the work that she did.
Yes.
And she's like, this is all because I listened to this. I listened to the energy that wanted to be said.
The energy from the throat.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, we never sat there and said, how can we create the perfect job opportunity for you?
Right. It wasn't like, let's plan this out.
Yeah. It was just, how can we honor those messages? And this is what showed up. This is the action she took. And those are the results that she got. And I know, Cody, you probably have so many stories of your clients where
absolutely
it's not this, here's how you find the perfect relationship. And it's here's what does it look like to honor this and to listen and to trust it.
Yeah. It's amazing. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say, and then what's possible from there. So go ahead.
Yeah. And what is possible there. And I love how it's like, we always want to go for the more complicated solution.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I feel like what we do in BodyMind, either as a coach or in the work itself, is paying attention to the subtleties. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's the subtle shifts. I sometimes it's almost like I feel challenged to describe the impact that I make, because it's like, yeah, we make this one subtle shift and the rest of their life changes forever. How do you break that down for somebody? And it starts by listening to the body, because the body has innate intelligence that it wants to share, that it wants to give us, that it's truly, I think it's like, I jokingly refer to as the universe and the body are in cahoots for my goodness, for my greatness.
I totally agree. Yes.
Right?
Hell yes.
The universe and my body are like, they're like in a team together. And I'm the only one that's like, off on my own in the corner, like trying to master everything. When the body and the universe are like, any day.
And this goes to like, okay, I really believe that the gift you are here to give the world is you. And that, good mute there. And that the gifts that are just so natural and intuitive and easy for you, whether it's, for some reason this is showing up, so somebody needs to hear this, whether it's like car maintenance or, being able to see these blocks, like energetic blocks, to maybe you're really good at writing grants. There's something in you. So these are the examples.
Somebody needs to hear it. It's good.
Somebody needs to hear it. What happens is, we live in a culture that says we have to strive and push, and success has to be fought and gained, and we have to overcome all these things. And you're right. We make it so complicated. And the messed up part of all of this is that when you recognize that you're right, the universe and your body are in cahoots for you to like, just simply be alive with those natural gifts.
Yes.
Because those natural gifts are how you give back. And this is especially for the ladies.
Right.
They come so easily to us that we don't value them.
Yes.
And so we think we have to get caught up in the rules of all the things that we're supposed to do to be of value, to be of service, when, and this is like the messed up part of it, those gifts that are so easy and almost ordinary, right? Mark Henson, ordinary superpowers.
Right.
They feel so ordinary. They also feel good.
Yeah.
And when we're taught that we have to like sacrifice and give,
Suffer,
right? Be in servitude, and the natural gifts are easy and they feel good.
yeah.
We don't value that. And like, I just think about how divine that is, that the natural gifts that are the blessings that you bestow on everybody else make you feel good.
Yeah.
To me, that is quite logical, because doesn't the universe want you to do more of that?
Yes.
And the universe wants you to receive
More
for that,
yes,
so that you can give more of it, and then you get to receive, right? Like, the universe wants it to feel good and easy and light, and almost like your brain's going to go, duh. Right? Like, it didn't have to be that hard. Yeah.
Didn't that be that hard?
Yeah.
That makes me think of, I know we both like Kyle Cease, but that makes me think of, really being successful in life, in business, in all areas of your life is a win-win-win.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for me. It's good for the other person. And it's also good for the community, the consciousness as a whole. And I see that as like, as we cultivate that wave of doing the thing that lights us up, we light the world up, which only fosters lighting us up, which only gives us more. It's like it's limitless in the ability to give more and more.
It is. And I also think this is where the real work happens.
Yeah.
Because of the conditioning of the mind, and because we so unconsciously block ourselves in that process.
Yeah.
And, I know that receiving is a big topic that we also talk about. And this is something that I've been experimenting with and playing with. And even I have a specific example of this yesterday. In my line of work, like, I really feel called to share and serve and give in the world.
Right.
And I also, from the massage industry, from being a woman, there's a lot of messaging of like, give, but don't receive.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's like, yeah. So feeling through that. And I used to say, giving and receiving are two sides of the same coin. You have to receive in order to give and all that good stuff. But I have to tell you, and I don't know that maybe you know the answer to this. Is this like a metaphysical thing? Because I honestly think it is. I currently am playing with the belief that there is only receiving.
Oh, I love that.
Well, and you were there when my son was born at my workshop, and I swear to God, everybody got to receive. Everybody got to receive, right? And that was a fun story. And even yesterday, what happened is I had a team member who had been in a space where she was trying to figure things out by herself because she didn't want to rock the boat, be too much, all the things. Yeah. And she spoke up and she's like, I would like to receive support. And what happened was we all got to receive support because she brought that issue to the surface. Right. And the funny thing is we had all been feeling it. And when she verbalized it, it actually helped all of us.
Yeah.
Like,
it helped open up like the access to it.
Yeah. And I have to tell you, in my business and my career, it's like, the more I've allowed myself to receive, the more everybody else around me receives.
Yes. I love that.
Like, I really think, I think, we put so much effort into this idea of giving because we think I think, no offense, I think a lot of times people are giving because they want to receive, but then they believe that they can't receive. So they do this like,
it's like we've created this guilt monster around receiving.
Guilt monster.
And we've created this altruism around giving when really it's like, I really do believe, I'm going to say something bold here, y'all. And that is, giving without receiving is the selfish thing, most selfish thing you can do. Like,
hot damn yes.
Hands down. Because if you're just constantly giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, and you're not allowing anybody to show up and have the precious gift of giving to you, which activates your receiving, or the universe showing up. It's like you're literally like saying, universe, I'm going to give to the world, but I don't need anything. Well, you literally need to live, so you have to receive. Like,
I laugh, and you know that I come from the industry that we come from the holistic space, where it's like, don't take too much, right? Keep your prices low. And I have to tell you,
and I don't think it's just the holistic field. I think it's a lot of fields.
Yes. And here's what's funny though, is what I have learned is the people who are like, but I didn't get into this industry for the money. I didn't get into this work for the money. I can guarantee that they're making it all about the money because they're barely paying their bills, because they're struggling to make ends meet, because they're chasing clients down and they are exhausting themselves, which is actually making it all about the fucking money, right? I'm like, if you actually just let yourself receive abundantly for your gifts, like there is an energetic exchange, and that energetic exchange has to be balanced.
It has to be there.
And if you're blocking that, you're actually blocking what everybody else gets to receive around you. And the thing is, I actually think the universal law is service. Mm-hmm. And I think that your ability to receive, right? That there is only receiving. As you receive, others receive. What if we just started to trust that the giving is just going to happen?
Yeah. Well, and I like exactly what you just said, which is when I receive, there is only receiving for others. So it's like, it's inherent for the giving to be a part of it. It's not a necessity to go out there and make the giving happen. Mm-hmm. When you actively receive, it's inherent that it's just going to come up and out.
Yeah. And it's like that receiving leads to more inspiration, which leads to more sharing, which leads to more giving, which leads to more receiving, which leads to more inspiration, which leads to more sharing, which leads to it just keeps amplifying. And,
right.
It is funny. Like there are people in my life that I can see totally block it. And I'm like, and you get this as a projector too. I'm waiting for the invitation.
Right.
I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I see it, but if you're not willing to receive it, I'm just going to sit here and let you sit in that. And I think about that from like a universal law perspective. And even just, thank you for the book recommendation, by the way. So good.
I love money. Money loves you.
Yes. So good. Yeah. I just think about the universe, God, source, spirit, whatever that is for you, is literally sitting there saying, everything you desire is there. Your job is simply to receive it. Right. And so I see these people in my life where I'm like, I can help you, but you are so set in your ways of not opening up yourself to receive it that I'm not going to try.
Right.
Right. And I'm like, think about that from a universal perspective, that the universe is like sitting here saying, it's right here. It's right here. Like that desire I put in you is there because when you receive it, you're going to naturally give more to the world and you're going to make the world a better place. But I can't make you want it and I can't make you receive it. And that's where, for BodyMind Coaching, that's where it is an embodiment. It is a deep connection to source. It is breaking the old neural pathways and the old rules of who you're supposed to be and what you have to do to receive what you desire and letting it come in. And then it's almost like an experiment where it's like just layer by layer, you start to let it in and it starts to grow and you start to see that this energetic embodiment, feeling, receiving, right? Yes. And then now your mind is actually building the evidence to see the new way. And then all of a sudden it's like you have, this purpose coming into your heart. You have this embodiment, like lifting it up and supporting it. And then your mind is like, how can we expand it? And it all works together. And it's like, it's blown my mind. And I also have that intuitive, there it is again. I also have that intuitive knowing, like, the universe is like, Laura, you haven't seen nothing yet.
Right.
You know?
Your idea of what you thought, it ain't even the pinnacle of what is possible.
Yeah. And I remember the day Cody came into my life and I was like, I get to receive and work with this amazing soul. No. look at what she's doing and looking how we're amplifying this together. Like it's, to me, to kind of come full circle, I really feel like that is that body mind way, that body mind method of quit limiting yourself to stupid, teeny tiny goals that you think are huge and start to embody the energy of what you desire and receive, receive, receive. And like the way that you think and process, instead of it being this top down controlled, contracted small way of being, it just like comes up and out of you. So it's just,
I feel a powerful thing like coming through that I want to talk to you for a moment.
sure.
And that is, we put so much of our sense of security in what our mind thinks, rather than on the security of our being and our connection to whole.
Yeah.
I feel that our true sense of security is a felt relationship, rather than trying to analyze or solve for or think about or, like come to a conclusion. That's not where we get our true sense of security. That's only where we perpetuate fears.
Yeah. And there's so much goodness in this. Am I allowed to make, like, I feel like I've dropped a couple books here already because
I think so. I mean, this is just a place where we're supporting all kinds of people and women and all things. So,
and I hear Radical Wholeness. Love the dog. Radical Wholeness by Philip Shepherd. His work has been such a profound impact for me, and really tied into this body mind journey. So I want to give credit where credit is due because, and I'm fairly certain he's the one that said this, and I'll put my Laura spin on it as well. But I think for me, this is kind of the difference between safety and security, where we think safety is having all the information, knowing everything before we start, having our ducks in a row.
What is that?
I have no idea. But what happens is that need for safety often creates inaction, which actually creates restriction and
makes us stuck.
It's like your life gets smaller versus security, which is that felt relationship. It is. So to me, security is surrendering into the unknown and knowing that I am divinely held. And I mean, what is faith if it's not that?
Right? What is faith if it is not divinely held?
Yeah, if it's not just a surrender into the unknown and allowing life to flow through you. Right. And again, I don't know where I heard this quote, but it was something along the lines of, you can either chase safety or you can chase freedom. And the thing is, people who chase safety find neither. Yeah. Because the world just gets smaller and smaller and scarier and scarier. But people who chase freedom, which to me is a drop, it's a surrender. It's just
a presence.
Yeah. People who chase freedom find both.
Yeah.
Because in that freedom, you recognize, life is life. Like there are so many things happening, right? We are flying through space on a rock that is spinning around a fiery thing.
Globe. Yes.
Yeah.
Very fast.
Yeah. And nothing is guaranteed. I think the only guarantee is right now is this moment, is this presence. And again, it's like, when I am embodied and I'm connected, it's like, I feel those intuitive hits. I feel that deep guidance. I feel that presence of God in my life. For me, it's God. And I feel that it's holding me and it's saying, go here, take this next step, take this next step. Oh, hey, this thing, right? And the more I've trusted the feeling, just things open up in unexpected ways, things I never could have planned for or known or figured out when I started. and it's just a beautiful journey. And I now feel that like that is my security in my life. And whenever I'm feeling that constriction, it's because I've gone into the head. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to feel safe. And it typically doesn't go anywhere. So, this is all an experiment. This is all a playful journey. This is to me, like, in BodyMind Coaching, we use the embodiment practices to bring you home. And we use that coaching conversation to help give voice to the body, to help you start to navigate and experience what this looks like. And then from there, start to tune into those messages and see what might be the next step and
right.
Live this experience. To feel your way forward. Yeah. It's just an amazing journey. And it's, I sit here and I feel like I've been giving birth. Like, I feel like this is something that was put in my heart.
Yeah.
And I've given birth to this entity. And the thing is, I think so many other practitioners have been feeling it. And also, I think, and what we're doing this year in our business is we're expanding to reach and,
tell us more about that.
Yeah. So, it's funny. I look at it now and I'm like, I get the divine plan because I get it. Because what I've basically done is, I started learning this, or I started experimenting and playing, and I created this BodyMind method. And when I really felt into what was right, it felt like helping other practitioners learn this was the next step.
Yeah.
And we've done that, and we've built that, and we have this amazing BodyMind coaching program. And if you're a holistic practitioner, definitely come check us out.
Absolutely.
And what I realized is we have people around the world who are practicing this work, which to me now, the next step is I want to demonstrate and give voice to this process in everyday life. Where, any mom, any stressed out CEO, any farmer, wherever you are in your life and in your journey, you can start to feel and experience this work for yourself. Mm-hmm. And so we're launching. And by the way, this is how this came up to be, was a total embodiment. Like, I was just feeling my way forward, and little thing showed up, and I followed it, put it out there. We're creating, it's called BodyMind Living. It's going to be an online magazine, and the whole purpose of it is, to demonstrate what it actually means to live this work, right? Instead of this top down mindset's going to save you belief, we actually want to show you how you can take these principles and start to apply them in your life.
I love that.
I know. And it's going to be a place where we have our directory of all of our BodyMind coaches, so people can start to find a coach in their area and connect.
Yeah.
It's a way for all of us to receive together and expand the work together.
Yeah. Just keep receiving. Mm-hmm. So you can receive more, so that the world can receive even more.
Yes. Because the universal law is going to give. It's going to happen. When you are aligned, the giving happens automatically.
Yes.
And I think for so many people, that ability to receive for what is easy and natural is really the growth edge.
Yeah. And I'm so excited for, kind of like the progression of where things are going, that this gets to access more people in the BodyMind way and connecting with the body in a profound way, and just really the next up leveling of what it is that you're bringing into the world.
Yeah. And I think what's so important about this is it's in the little small choices of your day where this work really happens.
Yes.
I think sometimes it can turn into this, like, I know we're talking we're talking very broadly together, because you and I are very mission driven, vision driven people.
Right.
And it's in, when you wake up, what's the first thought that enters your mind?
Yeah.
and when
how are you showing up to cultivate the joy in the little things?
Yes.
How are you brushing your teeth? Are you brushing your teeth with gratitude? Are you brushing your teeth thinking about all the things and all the arguments you have to have for today?
Yeah. Are you driving to work listening to, things that are only adding stress to your life, and like you're already dreading the day and your projects and you're making up stories? Like where are those subtle little places where you get to make a different choice, where instead of going into the head, you can drop into the body, and what might be possible as you start to live that. So to me, that's and again, this like literally came through me following the energy of what I wanted to create. And like, this just thing popped into my head, and I was like, okay, apparently that's a thing. and I'm, I'm curious, and I'm playing, and I'm feeling my way forward, and we'll see where it takes us.
Love it.
So that's the adventure. So that's, so it's yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I hear in all that, it's about the subtlety and the showing up, and showing up. Over and over.
And just how we can bring more of this into our lives. And so that's being launched on bodymindliving.com.
Yes. Tell everybody where they can find that, all of it, please.
So, I'm typically at Laura Wieck, Instagram and Facebook. So bodymindliving.com, we're actually going to be launching that relatively soon. So be on the lookout. Yeah.
You've got it.
We actually just started the whole process, and I'm so excited to breathe the life into this. And then if you're interested in becoming a BodyMind coach, there's the new bodymind.com is where you can find details about that. I'm sure Cody has I have a free training about that we can put the link below here.
Absolutely.
And I know Cody can help you if you want any feedback from her. And also, I just want to also say, if this is resonating with you, if you are like, oh my God, I need to live this work, this lady right here, Miss Cody, is a brilliant, amazing BodyMind coach who has,
thank you.
I know that the retreats that you offer, the coaching you provide is just amazing. She gets it, right? She lives this, she embodies this work. I know that it's your daily commitment to your growth. So to me, that's so important when you're looking at a coach, is working with somebody who actually does their process too. And Cody does her process.
I show up doing the work every day that I guide people in doing. I feel like I can't nurture anyone if I'm not nurturing myself.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just also want to say, if you're looking for some support, you should definitely go talk with this lady too.
Come check it out. And no matter what, really think about making the BodyMind Way and what we've talked about today, just integrating it in the small ways in your life. These don't have to be so often. I think we take on the whole pie, my words, we just try and take it all on instead of one bite at a time.
Yeah. And as you said that, what showed up to me is just, let's leave maybe with a really simple tool or skill.
Yes, please.
So I would say the first part of this is, now that we've kind of talked about it, start to notice, to me, there's a very specific feeling when I disconnect from my body and I go into the head.
Yeah.
It's a very narrow focus. It feels very tight, contracted. That's how I experience it. My neck and shoulders are typically the first to start talking to me. So I'm just, be curious to, how does your body tell you when you're disconnected?
Yeah.
Right.
And then the one thing I notice a lot, and I just want to say this because I think a lot of people do it. They do this look up, or they it's like you literally, you ask yourself a question, or you're thinking and you're looking up.
Yeah.
Almost like you're trying to look up into the brain.
Yes, totally. I a tangent showed up in that. In our culture, we're taught to find the right answer. And this, I'll give you two tools here. I'll give you an embodiment one, and I'll give you kind of a mind down one. So notice what is, do you look up when you disconnect from the body? Do you hold your breath? Do you tighten your shoulders? Do you clench your fist. Like, what is that first sign that you're diverting up
that
into
you're
the head?
disconnecting. Yeah.
And one of the fastest ways to drop back down is through your breath. Just right. Another thing I like to do is I like to feel my feet. So I'll feel my feet against the ground.
Yeah.
It's a way that like all of a sudden my awareness drops.
I like that.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, and my voice changes too. Like, oh, hey, there we are. And then to give you the mind option in this as well, if you feel like you're trying to get something right or trying to find the right answer, the right path, I have found for me, it's not so much about finding answers. It's more about finding questions.
I love that.
So ask a different question. What would it feel like to know the best next step?
Right.
Right. What might be possible if I felt my feet and just sat here for a moment? Like ask a different question, and that will often take you out of the loop and back
into your body.
I would say at least back into the present. I still think I would say back into.
You're right.
The question is, I think, a tool it's like a doorway to the embodiment. I don't think the question is the embodiment. Now you can take the question. Oh, imagine how will my feet feel when I know I'm on the right path? Like, you can bring the question into the body. But I just know when I'm very much trying to get things right, or if I feel that pressure, that anxiety, if I can switch into a question, I start to notice my mind expand. And then I feel like I can start to access my body a little bit deeper.
Yes.
So just some places
Thank
to start.
you for that.
Oh my gosh, this is so fun. I feel like we could talk for like an hour.
I feel like we could go for hours.
Did.
We just did. Did it go by? It went by so fast.
That was like 5 minutes in my experience, my
right
gauge of time in this moment right now.
Love it so much. Well,
I'm so excited.
So much, Laura, for being here, for being present with this. I will make sure that everything will be linked down below and in the show notes, so you guys will have everything. And thank you again for coming on here. I know that I feel like everyone needs the BodyMind Way in their life and needs to just kind of like reconnect to our whole self, the whole brain, right?
I know.
Not just part of the brain.
Yes.
And really step into receiving and owning what they have to show up in this life as.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. This is so fun. I'm inspired.
Perfect.
Thank you, Cody.